Se fue la señal, qué raro. Voy a invitar nuevamente a Jennifer. Si esta vez ya se queda. Ups. Ay, se fue la señal aquí, qué raro. Ok,
Okay.
entonces, pues estaba diciéndoles that you guys are the new generation. I think they call it Gen Z or something like that.
I think we're
Okay,
still
pero
millennials. Don't make me
millennial.
that old yet.
So, I'm gonna read a little bit y voy a ir, porque vamos a hablar Spanglish. You guys
Dale.
hablan muy bien el español y están en México, pero yo sé que hay muchos amigos de ustedes que hablan puro inglés, entonces la gente que habla español, please, vamos a estar hablando el Spanglish, el English en Spanish, ahí vamos a sacar el dust del inglés. Entonces, Rafa dice, I think if I had to give myself a label, I choose creator. These days, I find myself in a state of discovery and experimentation, awaiting to see what I feel called to create next. ¿Tú sabías que YouTube ha created a new para trabajar? Y dice, calling all creators. O sea, de que YouTube ya creó ese nuevo nombre para un trabajo. O sea, antes esto era imposible, ¿ok? Entonces, this space is for us to open our brain to our mind and not be so close-minded to certain things y pensar que así como vivíamos antes era lo mejor. My background is an entrepreneur. A veces hay palabras en inglés que no me salen. Marketing, filmmaking, and branding, but I decide most of my time these days with my wife, ellos son esposos, and dog traveling, que conocí esa cosita hermosa, the world, and learning from many different cultures and how to live life. Over everything, I am a learner. I love philosophy, psychology, and exploring new ways to outlet my creative expression. Some hobbies I enjoy are playing basketball, playing the guitar, and I have heard you. You are amazing, and having deep talks about life in the world. But most importantly, I am a human like all of us, learning, growing, and living, taking life one day at a time. Y ahora voy a leer un poquito de lo tuyo porque tú escribiste bastante y lo pusimos en las redes para que ustedes se den cuenta, porque cuando yo le dije a estos hermosos, quieren tener un chat conmigo, les digo, ¿cómo quieren que los presente? Y Jennifer me dijo, yo no me he presentado en, ¿ya qué? ¿2 años? Ok, entonces,
3 años.
y
Yeah.
escribiste algo desde el corazón, oh my gosh, y los dos, o sea, y tú dices, I am a former workaholic and addicted to doing and productivity, y hablas de cómo esto te llevó a tanto dolor, and you have been in pain, and I am witness of that, okay, I became a burnout queen, focus on survival, y ahora dices, now instead of surviving, I am living in flow, faith, and lead a healthy, conscious lifestyle, and will consider myself a yogi, nomad, minimalistic writer. But before, you were a former owner of a real estate agency that successfully ran for 7 years and have 9 years of formal education in psychology. O sea, yo soy testigo, witness de tu carrera con él, y soy witness de los dos, de sus carreras, ¿ok? Entonces, por eso es que para mí es tan lindo tenerlos aquí, darles este espacio, because I know that it have not been easy for you guys to live everything, ya que sus padres vienen a estos países, crean la abundancia económica, ¿ok? But for you guys, emotionally, being this new generation, era como un burnout. Entonces, cuéntenme y vamos a empezar por Jennifer, ¿cómo tú decides, ya no quiero esta vida, yo quiero fluir con la vida? ¿Cuándo comienza eso? Y luego tiene la palabra Rafael.
Bueno, hello everyone. I want to say hello to the people pulling up. Hi, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us today. Hello. Okay, so to answer your question, how did I decide to go from living a life that was very business mindset oriented to doing, to then deciding to live in flow? Honestly, I got fed up. I got fed up of burning out, of being tired, of being sick, of being depleted, of being exhausted. And I knew that my body was calling for something better for my overall health, my physical health, primarily, because so many health issues arise as I was producing and doing, that eventually my body gave me the nudge, many nudges, to the point where it was emergency visits, it was attacks, my body was attacking itself. And at some point, my body literally forced me into no more. No more. There has to be another way of living. There has to be an easier way, a more effortless way of living, a more connected way of living. I felt I was very disconnected from my roots. And by that, I mean my human nature.
Porque hay que pensar que tú vienes de un linaje de indígenas.
Sí.
Vienes de roots que son indígenas. Entonces llega un momento de burnout, pero ustedes se casan. Yo los casé, ¿ok? Entonces, ustedes...
Sí,
yo me acuerdo la casa hermosa donde vivían, Rafael, y entonces llega un momento que se te muere tu abuelo y luego a ti te ponen en charge de parte de la compañía. Y entonces empiezan a haber más demandas en ti. Y vamos a hablar más, porque muchas personas pueden decir, pero si lo tenían todo, qué mal agradecidos, porque eso es lo que la gente dice. Okay, pero ahora vamos a ir entrando y ahorita hay que aclarar que ustedes están en México. ¿Ya tienen cuánto tiempo de estar en México?
Tenemos 1 año y 3 meses.
Y 3 meses, ok. Ha sido un... Entonces, exacto. You burn out, tu cuerpo estaba diciendo, y un día decides visitar México. Ok, Rafael, ¿cómo entras tú en todo esto?
Bueno, en esa época, como comentaste, yo antes tenía una productora de videos y mi familia tiene una agencia de mercadeo. Entonces, naturalmente las cosas se fueron fluyendo y bueno, entonces llegué a trabajar ahí con mi familia. So I started working with my family's business. After I was in the video world, my family was in marketing. We ended up kind of merging together and working together. And along that journey, my family business celebrated 38 years in business, and the founder of the business, my grandfather, passed away. So in this moment, it felt in many ways kind of like, oh, I'm supposed to be here working with my family business. And to make a long story short, I dove head deep into the corporate world pretty much, working with many corporate clients and working with big brands and all these things that I had aspired to doing, in my production company. But slowly but surely, I started to realize many things that were not in congruence. I had to show up a certain way and I had to talk a certain way. I couldn't wear certain things. There weren't things I couldn't say. I might drop a fuck every once in a while. I'm like, oh, I can't say fuck, all these things. But I'm like, that's my natural. We need to make something fucking awesome or whatever. And so slowly but surely, I started feeling more and more constricted. And at the same time, it was a family business. And really, this is where a lot, I feel, of my spiritual development came from, because I've heard from a wise mentor. He said, if you think you're enlightened, spend a week with your family, and it hit me I think that's so true. I was working with my family and there were so many dynamics there that I'm like, wait, hold on. why am I so triggered by this very simple request? Why is this very small thing feeling like such an explosion, you know, like a feeling inside of me?
So what I'm hearing is both of you, los dos ustedes, start feeling the heaviness.
Yeah.
Porque I remember, Jennifer, ustedes estaban con lo de la venta de casas, creando casas, compraban casas y las remodelaban y luego las ponían Airbnb, que creo. Entonces, how is that moment cuando ustedes dos dicen, we have to go? ¿Cuándo pasa eso? O sea, yo sé que fue transitional.
Yes.
That happened, Jennifer. When is like, I have to leave everything.
I have the answer for you because the memory is so vivid for me. So for the people that don't speak Spanish, she's asking, when was it that that aha moment hit where we realized, no, we can't do this life and I have to move or I have to do something different? Well, for me, I ended up coming to this beautiful, magical, tiny hippie surf town by myself. It was my first solo trip. And I got here and mind you, humbly, I will say I'm well traveled. I have never in my life experienced a feeling like this in my soul, in my heart, where it felt literally like home. And I was here, I was volunteering with some children in San Pancho, Mexico, another very small town. It's not even a town. They don't call it a town. They call it a rancho. That's how small it is. That's where I was volunteering. And it hit me that this is where my body is supposed to be. I didn't know why. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. But my body felt the pull from the jungle. My body felt the pull from the earth here, from the vegetation here. And I just have to, excuse me, Rafa, just show you.
Wow.
This is where we're living. I mean, hello, it's Pachamama literally hugging us. It's Pachamama embracing us all the time. So I was volunteering and I said, this is the life, this simplicity, this being surrounded by plants, by birds, by animals. And I'm volunteering and I'm elated. And I call him. And this is when he was maybe 6 months into working with his family business. I call him and I said, Rafa, we have to move. I found our home.
Oh.
He's like, what are you talking about, lady?
I remember being on the phone. I'm like,
what?
I was like literally in the middle of a meeting. I'm like, hey, what's up? You good? You're like, I found it. I found the spot. I found the first spot. Because ever since we first started dating, she's like, I just want you to know at some point, like, we're going to live across the world. She's like, so if we're going to be together, know that going into it. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, let's do it.
You guys started in high school, huh? Dating.
Yes.
Yes.
Dating in high school, but
yeah,
we met in high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we met 16.
Oh my God. Yeah, you guys just, well, you still in your 20s, late 20s, Jennifer. And Rafa, you just turned 30, huh?
No, vice versa. She just turned 30,
okay.
and I'm in.
Okay, yeah. You have the beard. You look a little older than her, but you guys still babies. So, okay, so you're in the middle of a meeting, y la cosa está de que literalmente dejaron todo y se fueron. O sea, eso fue una bomba, porque ya te imaginas la cultura de tus padres. O sea, las cosas se hacen así, te casas, tienes una casa, vas a la universidad, ¿verdad? O sea, y luego tienen que tener hijos, tienen que trabajar, o sea, ya está estructurado como tiene que ser.
Sí.
Luego ustedes dejan todo y se van. Y luego, ¿cómo es esa reacción de la familia, de la cultura? ¿Qué pasa allí? Porque yo quiero que la gente también nos escuche lo que han vivido después. Y, ok, entonces, ¿qué pasa allí después cuando ya llegan acá y luego las bombas acá en Estados Unidos? Cuéntenos.
Well, I guess, yeah, I think, bueno, no sé, do I go Spanish, Spanglish, English, Spanish? I don't know how.
Both.
El, el momento llegó que, bueno, esa llamada fue 6 meses antes de que nos fuimos, sino que fueron progresando las cosas y luego yo llegué a un punto where I was overworked and I was burnt out and I'm like, bro, like, what the fuck am I doing? And like, I feel like I got to a point where, and it's not the healthiest way, I'll just go ahead and say that, but I got to a point where I literally, like, I couldn't even answer a phone. Like, I couldn't even hear my email, boom, bing, like, the little noise was like, fuck, like, no, like, and my body literally just shut down. And so I got to that point. This is months before Jennifer has this call with me. And sure enough, it's like, hey, like, what's up? Why don't we try to go to Mexico? And from there, we started selling all of our stuff. We started letting our family know. We started letting our friends know. And of course, I think really the most growth has happened from the moment we decided, because there were so many challenges.
There was a lot of resistance.
So much resistance from the people around us, our friends. What the hell are you doing? Our families, like, dude, like, Jennifer just, like, been working 7 years and grew this amazing business. I just merged my company, and like I had a partner, and like all these things that people were like, yo, like, what are you guys doing?
But here's the thing, it's so beautiful to understand people's resistance to our decision of moving away for a year ago, because you really understand people's priorities. People's priorities may not and are not in alignment with our newfound priorities. Priorities of, well, you have the money, you have the business, you have the house, you have the car, you have the convenience, you have America. Okay, for you, that sounds like rainbows and sunshine. For me, it does not resonate. For me, it's not for my body. It's not for how I envision my life and myself. Money is important, but I feel that there was so much resistance from my family members for many reasons. And I think that is number one of them, is that, yes, we are children of immigrants. So as children of immigrants, I now understand that our families had to and continue to live in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, all you think about is surviving, literally. Well, how are we gonna eat? How is the business gonna stay afloat? And that turns into these one-way tunnel visions of success and the way that success is seen. But that is not success for everyone. That is not how I envision success. And yes, maybe people might call me crazy, or they did call me crazy. You left it all behind.
Correct.
You left a business.
I want to make a space right here, because when you are now in Mexico, then you connected with a culture and with a new way. A lot of young people like you guys from all over the world traveling, discovering. Y mira, I have 5 children, and my children are not the type of, this is the way it is done. This is no. Well, 2 children decide to go to the university, but the others decide the entrepreneurship world, and many of them just travel to other countries to stay with the indigenous. So they have this open-minded, and I honor the new generation. But for parents that are very strict, that was very painful for them. So now it has to happen. Okay, and you guys are you guys are the front to a lot of young people that are gonna be listening to you, and it's not an easy thing what you did, because you go through a lot of jumps, holes, and a lot of fear, a lot of guilt, a lot of. Cuéntenos un poquito what went for you guys, because I want them to tell us what have you discovered living in Mexico. Okay, so tell me a little bit, what was the biggest fear that you have to confront when you make the leap?
The biggest fear is standing up to family.
Mm.
For not even standing up to family, but standing up for us, you know, like what we choose and what we want and what we believe is the best path forward. I feel that was one of the biggest hurdles, and certain boundaries to say, listen, I respect, I appreciate the care, the love and attention and the intention behind you wanting to, you know, give me advice in a certain phase of life. But I think we both had to do a lot of inner work to say, like, do we want to live the life that our parents are living, that our siblings are living, that our friends are living? So not giving so much power to those opinions came from us deciding, actually, no, like we don't. And that's okay. Like everyone can live their own way. There's no reason to judge.
Correct.
And everyone can live their own path. But for me, that doesn't resonate. And I think, like, to speak on the topic of our families, and yes, they come as immigrants, they come to start a life, they come with a no option but success mentality, right? Because there's no opportunity for failure. And at the end of the day, they come because they want to provide freedom for their children, opportunity for their children, new perspective, new education. Thanks for that sacrifice that my family and her family's made. I went to a great school. I had access to the internet. I was able to do lots of research. I was able to learn many different philosophies and different modalities, different things of life, different healing, all this access to information that they didn't have. So here I am today. I'm embodying that, okay, I can make better decisions for my life. And I feel what I want to do in my life right now is live a life of simplicity, live a life of honoring myself, not needing to people please or show up in a certain way because that's what's expected. You know, to be okay going a bit of a different path.
As family, for you, it was to confront all those things that are set in stone for children of immigrants. So for you, Jennifer?
I think my biggest fear was simply doing it. It with fear. I took the leap of faith with fear. I took it as this is my opportunity to better my life and to create more wellness in my life. And I did it with fear. I think it was just, though, what's going to happen once we're there? What are we going to do? Who are we going to meet? I mean, mind you, we're not Mexican. We're moving to a whole new country. Thankfully, I speak the language. Shout out to my parents who forced me to speak Spanish since I was very little. But it's a new culture. It's a new way of living. It's a new air. It's a new pace. It's a new environment. So I think the fear was just, can I do it? Can we do it?
Exactly.
Can we actually do it? And here we are a year later.
Ahora quiero que la gente entienda, porque no me quiero pasar de la hora y quiero que ustedes expliquen qué es lo que han descubierto viviendo esta vida simplística en México, viviendo en The Flow, que es una de las cosas más bonitas que les ha pasado. Cuéntenos, o sea, cómo su cuerpo se adaptó al calor, porque están en la playa, no aire acondicionado, ¿ok? El piso de tierra, porque nosotros fuimos con mi esposo a ese pueblito donde ustedes están y tenemos una fotografía aquí, ustedes la vieron, y pues yo conocí con mi esposo ese pueblito. ¿Qué han descubierto ahí? ¿Cuál es la magia ahí? Cuéntenos.
Lo más bonito para mí que me ha pasado viviendo acá son los temazcales.
Platícanos.
Un temazcal. Okay, so a temazcal is a sweat lodge. Yeah, that's the translation, but it's really way more than a sweat lodge. It's an indigenous medicine for the body, for the soul, for the mind, for the heart, where you pretty much enter this little igloo, small igloo made of bricks, made of earth material, made of blankets sometimes, and you enter with 15 to 45 people in the dark.
Okay.
Indigenous medicine to cleanse out all of your toxins, to cleanse out limited beliefs, to cleanse out programming, to cleanse out anything that you are intending to cleanse out. And the the message there is that this little igloo thing is the womb. You're going back. You're going back.
You've been doing that, and that had helped you with your health, your mind, your soul.
Beyond. It's, I can't even explain it. It's beyond. It's, you were transformed. You're literally going back into the womb, and you come out, and you're a new person, and you're reborn. And I've been a part of.
Darth Mermaid said, hello to Logan's auntie and uncle, y'all. Inspiring a lot of love from Los Angeles. Ooh, rebirth, I love it. Qué hermoso. Gracias por estar.
Fun.
You're such an inspiring soul. Jane Ashley said, I love you guys. You wave. Okay, so this, I like what you said about our parents that still live in survival mode without seeing beyond. Juliana, thank you guys for sharing. Uno de que estaba aquí dijo que she has worked with one of my sons, Apple. So people are saying hi. Okay, so for you, Rafa, what has been? Because I want you guys to talk about the kids that you are helping. Okay, because that's another beautiful. Okay?
So many beautiful things.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, honestly, to say that what have I learned here, it's like there's not enough time in a week to share, because it's been a whole year. I think it's been like levels and deeper and deeper and deeper of understanding ourselves and being like self-accepting, removing lots of comparison, because there's not so much, you know, like the digital space here isn't so like, you know, I think living in such a tight-knit community that you can walk to, like you run, you know, you pass your neighbors, hey, good morning, what's up? Hey, you getting some coffee? Good. Hey, I'll catch you at the, you know, like this kind of old school tribal almost feeling of like, I live in a village, you know, I live with people that support me, that uplift me. I don't have to know what's going on in their life. I think meeting so many different people, and you learn like many different things, right? Like I feel one of the biggest lessons, we have a friend, his name is Jimmy, and he's like literally the sweetest human being. He's so humble. And for the first time seeing like, you know, living examples of the kind of people you want to be more like, and you know that their priority maybe is not actually on work, and it's about being, you know, like the human being versus the human doing. And I feel like for me that's been a huge evolution of being here, is just allowing myself to be and creating like a better relationship with myself. I think it's made us like so much closer. It's challenged us in so many ways at the same time, because it's like, fuck, like how do we take the money, and how do we get the thing, and where do we pay for stuff, and we don't have a car, and like all these things that were like normal luxuries, you know, like we don't, like right now we just went back to Atlanta for a month. I was like, man, like we took all this for granted when we had it every day, you know. Then we came back, and our first day we didn't have power. We're like, what the fuck, you know, like. So it's been like a great lesson in humility, you know.
Juanita Velez dice, to know you all, to be loved, your happiness fill us so much. Los queremos mucho. Sol y Juan. I love you, Juanita. A decir algo muy interesante. Many times we think that making a big decision is an easy and fun way, but everything is a learning experience. And this doesn't mean that you guys are going to stay in Mexico forever. Right now, you are connecting with your soul, listening to your intuition, that was not taught at school. Eso no lo enseñaron en la escuela, ¿ok? Escuchar la intuición. Y when you listen to your intuition, beautiful things happen. So now I want you to finish telling us about the children that you guys are helping.
Well, I'll start with the preface and I'll let Jen finish it, because it's very curious how we ended up falling in love with the family here in this town in Mexico and many places in third world countries. You know, the kids have to work to also help provide for the family. And I just wanted to share a story, because there was one time where we were out and we were having, you know, like some drinks at a bar. And, you know, long story short, every time these kids come around, they're selling bracelets or whatever. They can be selling anything. Jennifer always gives them like more than the time of day. what's your name? What are you doing? How are you feeling today? I like your shoes. Your smile is so big. All these like very small little seeds of planting lots of love. There was one night in particular that we were out and I was hanging with a bunch of friends and so were we. And then all of a sudden we look over, Jennifer's talking to this kid and they're both like crying.
Oh.
Jennifer's crying and he's crying and they're just holding each other and they're giving each other a hug. And it's like,
Quiero dejar un espacio porque I want people to know that you are creating un documental. How do you say that? Documentary about children that we are going to be able to see. Ay, that's beautiful. Okay, so that's how it started.
That's how it started. Then, long story short, well, I'll just make it quick for you. We ended up, one day we invited one of the kids to come to our house. And then that kid brought his sibling the next day. And then the next day, and then you fast forward, and there was like 7, 8 kids coming to our house like every single day.
Wow.
And I'll let Jennifer take it from here.
Oh my God.
Yes. So it started all by caring about the beautiful children that are out there selling in the streets, that are typically neglected, rejected, ignored, not cared for in the slightest. They're children from 6, I think 6 is the youngest that I've seen. I mean, just imagine this for those who are moms, who are parents listening to this. Your child is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they are required and forced to work because they have to help you pay the rent, because they have to help you pay for power. They have to help you pay for access to water, for food, for groceries. So it started by me tapping into the hearts of all these beautiful little angels walking around the town and just giving them attention, giving them love. I've always wanted to work with children, and I have over the course of years, but I didn't know that it was going to get to this closeness and intimacy, to the point where now I'm understanding and I'm knowing and I'm going very deep into the lives of these beautiful children.
So now,
yes,
is listening to you guys. You are going with the flow. You don't have a set plan, but you know what you want. Being in Mexico had given you a glimpse of what life could be. So, to finish, y les quiero agradecer por estar y darnos este espacio. Deberíamos de hacer otro live para que nos cuenten un poquito más, porque su vida es muy interesante. ¿Qué miran? ¿Ok? Y esto es bien estructurado lo que voy a decir, pero me encantaría que me dijeran, ¿qué miran a Jennifer y a Rafa en los próximos 5 años? ¿Dónde se miran?
I don't know. Did you happen to see my post that I posted today?
Ay, sí, comiendo manguitos y todo.
Sí. Well, you're asking me the exact question that I have in my caption, which I asked myself, is where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's just that simple. It's somewhere warm, eating fresh fruit. Hopefully it's from my own garden. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know, we have little Rafas and Jens in the garden teaching plants, how to do life, how to do sustainable living. Hopefully it's just smiling and happy. And yes, Mexico is not the forever home. We plan to keep exploring. We plan to keep traveling and seeing the world and figuring it out.
Okay, so un mensaje en un minuto, Rafael, para todos los jóvenes que han querido dar ese jump, pero no lo han hecho. ¿Cuál mensaje le das? Y tú también, Jennifer, cuando termine Rafa. ¿Qué consejo, qué dirías?
I think it's one day at a time, you know, one challenge at a time. I think making the move here has challenged so many parts of me, you know, like my relationship with time, my relationship with money, my relationship with family, my relationship with myself. And a lot of those experiences can feel overwhelming. And I think being able to have, you know, for me, just some mentors, you know, like people that I like how they live their life, not I like what they have to say. Having friends that can just hold space and don't always need to give advice. Having a partner that, you know, can allow me to have 2 really shitty weeks and not be like, well, hey, like, when are you gonna get up, you know? And like, just allow me to have that space has also been like extremely beneficial to not force the growth. So I think take one step at a time, and this stillness has provided that ability, that silence to hear myself and actually know like, oh, hey, this actually like lights me up. I want to do this. Man, that's been like invaluable. So I think of, if anything, just quieting the noise. If you can't move to Mexico, put yourself somewhere where you can quiet the noise around you for as long as you can. 3 days, 5 days, 1 week, and giving yourself that space to listen to yourself is like, nothing matters what anyone's saying except what you want. Like, we know the answers, we know what we need. Like, that's it. Like, don't look anywhere else for it. You know?
Okay. So this will be your message, Jennifer.
My message is that as long as you feel and you know intuitively that you are a good person, that there is no right or wrong way to live life. Don't let people confuse you, put you and telling you that you're doing things the wrong way. If you know you're a good person, then there's no right or wrong way of doing life. You have to try it out.
Correct.
You can try, fail, you can try, you can succeed, but you will not know unless you just try it out. And there's no right or wrong way. Just fucking do it.
Exactly. Yes. Bueno, y entonces para terminar, solo quiero que escuchemos.
Hi, everyone.
Esto. Los amo. Gracias. Saber que se puede. ¿Ok? Solamente hay que intentarlo. Los quiero. Hasta pronto.
Gracias por todo, Mercedes.
Las amo. Gracias. Los amo. Hasta pronto. Chao a todos los que conectaron. Bye bye.
Bye.